Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. I am here. I know I'm starting early. I have to start early for a reason. The meter, the power company came out and put a brand new meter on my house back in January. The damn thing malfunctioned and we were sitting with no power. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So they just came out, they took the meter and they're bringing a brand new one. So because of that, I I am going to do this a little earlier than normal. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Please give me a one if you can hear me. Thank you, Denise. Yeah, so my morning has been really screwed up because of this. So I am sorry. I know I did schedule this for 1:30, but they just came out, took the meter that they just gave me off. And so I'm just waiting for them to come back. So I figure I'll do this in between because I don't know how long we're going to have my power out. It shouldn't take long for them to pop a new meter on, but still, it's cutting into my live time. So I'm going to get this out of the way so that I'm able to do this and I don't have you just sitting around waiting and wondering what's going on. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden is full of crap. I think we already know that. You know, he tried to downplay the crime that's going on in all of these sanctuary cities. It's going on all over. It's just that New York and Chicago are the two biggest places that are having problems, but it's happening wherever these migrants are. So now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's telling the sanctuary cities they can now collaborate with ICE and get these migrants out of here that are doing all of these criminal activities. So the bottom line is this is all Joe Biden's fault. You caused the problem. You caused all of these problems with these migrants in the country. And now all of a sudden you want to switch gears and tell everybody in these, so, oh, well, now y'all can work with ICE. Do you know New York? They've been dealing with the crime since 2022 and he never cared. You know why he cares now? Because that white nursing student in Georgia got killed by an illegal immigrant. Now they're coming out to say something about the crime and all these migrants. Now you can get them out. Okay, so we had to wait for some white girl to get killed for you to take this position? Really? Thank you, Nisi, supporting your channel, your YouTube channel. Shalom, Queen. Shalom to you too. But, that's the only reason why they're speaking out now. If that girl didn't get killed, y'all, by an illegal, he wouldn't be saying a thing. He wouldn't care. He never cared all the way up until now. Anna Marie, y'all, thank you for becoming a new channel member. So let's get into this, y'all, because, Biden, no matter what, he is 100% responsible for everything, including that girl getting killed. If you would have gotten the ones out of here that were committing all the crimes, that girl would be alive today. So, White House calls for sanctuary cities to cooperate with ICE amid furor over illegal immigrant crimes. And the residents in New York, they have been complaining for well over a year about all of the crime that was happening there. And nobody did a thing. Nobody did a thing. They just kept arresting them and letting them out almost as fast as they took them into custody. So now the White House is calling for sanctuary cities and jurisdictions around the US to cooperate with immigration, customs, and enforcement, known as ICE, in turning the criminal illegal immigrants over for hold hold on, hold on. All right. Sorry about that. Um, Let me get back on track. So they are now saying the criminal element can be turned over for deportation. Now, there's all kinds of issues even going on with that. You got Venezuela saying they aren't taking anybody back. And if they send a plane into Venezuela, they're not going to let the plane even land. Okay, Venezuela is making all kinds of threats. They are saying they don't want these people back. See, if they take them back, then they're taking the same prisoners that they let go. They don't want them back. So, even if you flew them out of here, you're going to have to figure out what destination you're going to drop them off in, especially now that you got them saying that. And I'm sure at the end of the day, they're not going to be the only ones refusing. You're going to hear about some more of these South American countries telling you they don't want these people back because they know they're the criminal element. That's why they don't want them back. So they're saying in wake of several high profile crimes committed by illegal immigrants who had previously been released by local law enforcement despite pleas from ICE. We welcome local law enforcement's support and cooperation in apprehending and removing individuals who pose a risk to national security or public safety. You know why this is foolish, y'all? They should have been done it. But even in New York, one of the illegals that was involved, they said he was like the main head of the ones that were out there on mopeds snatching phones. He said the crime ring is so big now, it is probably thousands and thousands of people involved in it. So even if you took these guys off the street that are snatching phones, you still got thousands more that you didn't get. But again, this is Biden's fault for allowing them to come to this country and even form crime rings. But they did. All right. It's going to take more than just deporting some here and there to get the criminal element among these illegals under control. They done waited until it got out of control, and now all of a sudden they want to take a stand. Jay Cage, thank you so much for the super chat piece to Lisa and the family. It's very much too late. It's too many of them here. You're right. It is. It's too late. It's too late. They're never going to get them under control now. You first of all, you got to know who they are. If they're coming fresh off the bus committing crimes, then you don't have very much information about them from the jump. All right, so let me get back. So now they're saying when local jurisdiction has information about an individual who could pose a threat to public safety, we want them to share that information with ICE. Before, y'all, they would not allow information to be shared with ICE. And that's another reason why they got so out of control when they came. They knew they were untouchable. How the hell are you going to give illegals coming into the country that kind of, you know what I mean? You're letting them get away with crimes. You don't even let your own citizens do that. But you're going to allow illegals to come in this country and do something like that. It is just unbelievable. Okay, so they can get away with all kinds of things that your citizens can't do. All right, so New York is now trying to reverse everything, and this is exactly what I was telling you in the beginning. This week it is revealed by ICE that the alleged killer of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley was previously arrested in New York City. Yeah, he was driving around without a license. Yeah, he sure was. He was driving around without a license. And ICE at one point detained him and then they released him. Separately, there have been other alleged crimes committed by illegal immigrants, including an arrest in a connection to murder. Now, this murder was of a 2-year-old in Maryland. They said an illegal is connected to a murder of a 2-year-old in Maryland who had detainers lodged against them, but were not honored by authorities. ICE announced this week that the arrest and conviction of a Guatemalan illegal for raping a Boston child. Wow. Wow. He was arrested and then released by ICE, and they raped a Boston child. Y'all, I want y'all to think. They wanted us to let these folks come in our houses to live. You don't know these folks. Those folks you're letting in could be those very prisoners that they let go to come here to the US. If the US don't even have this info, how are we as citizens supposed to have it? But they want you to let them in your home and help them. Biden is set to travel to the southern border. He's supposed to go this week. In fact, he's there today. He's at the border today. He's supposed to meet with Border Patrol, law enforcement, and local leaders. The White House said Biden will renew his calls for Congress to pass a bipartisan border agreement, which would have increased staffing for the border as well as tighten asylum rules and increasing funds to communities and NGOs receiving migrants. He is now saying that this is urgent because, like I said, a white student down in Georgia got killed. So now everything got an urgency to it. Unbelievable. So he is calling for them to get a bill passed, but it still does not alleviate the fact that Joe Biden allowed this to happen. This administration, as soon as they got in, they opened the floodgates. And I will never forget what he said to the Black community, that we would have to go to the Hispanics to get things done. I will never forget that. And nor will I ever forgive him for saying that. That was just rotten. So your intent was to make sure you load them in here and make sure they would become a problem to us. But lo and behold, y'all, they are a problem to them. They are having the worst problems with these folks. Even up in New York, those migrants beat up a few citizens and they beat up a reporter. They're white people, okay? They're not the Black people in the Black community. So you created this monster. And see, they see who's being attacked by these migrants. Trust me, if they were targeting us and they were attacking us, they would let it go on all day and all night. They would let it go on, just like out there in LA. Y'all remember what happened in LA. No matter how much them citizens complained, they didn't do nothing. They did not do nothing. If it was us, Joe Biden wouldn't be talking about collaborating with ICE and all that. See, they're now getting the brunt of what these illegals are doing up in here. We're not getting the brunt of it. They are. Yeah, now it's time to do something. And you also got the Haitians and their cases coming up soon where they're suing the government, the illegal Haitians that came in, and they said, the harsh treatment they got in comparison to these people coming south of the border. They got treated real bad. And they're suing the government. saying when they came as migrants, they were mistreated. And I was reading how when they were detained by Border Patrol, they weren't always getting fed every day. They said the ones that came of the border, they made sure they gave them food every day, and said the Haitians, the Africans, anybody melanated, dark melanated people that Border Patrol had detained, they said there were days they didn't get no food at all. But they made sure the ones that we see now coming across the border, they made sure they ate every day. And you can see them stories online. And I believe them. I believe them. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I knew it was going to backfire on them, Anna Maria. I said it in the beginning that this whole thing was going to backfire on them. And it did. It did. And I knew it would. See, anything they got planned for us, I guess they just don't want to believe that it can turn on them. See, when these migrants came in the country, they know who got the money. They know that white people are the ones with the money. Why do they want to? That's why they're not attacking us, because they said they know black people don't have nothing. Why are you going to attack a person that don't have nothing? But see, they wanted them to come in here like, oh, as soon as they get in here, they going to turn up on the black community. That's what they want. That's what Joe Biden and his administration wanted. That's what they wanted. But it didn't happen that way. And it serves their butts right. But that's what they wanted. They wanted them to come in here and turn up on the black community. We would be crying, do something, and they won't do nothing. They won't do anything. That's how you know it's impacting them the most, because now they're willing to change the policies that they got in place for the sanctuary cities. But see, when in Chicago, when those black residents were complaining, you didn't see them trying to change a thing. They wouldn't change nothing. But now, it took a white girl going to college to get killed by one of them. Now look at how they're jumping up and hooping and hollering. Oh, we need to get them out. Well, they were saying that, look, those black residents in Chicago was saying that since 2023. They've been saying you need to get these people out of here. You need to get them out. They got ignored. Nobody budged. Nobody was willing to change a policy. Now, after that girl gets killed, now, oh, that even Eric Adams didn't talk about doing no executive order to deport them until after that girl got killed. Hmm. But it certainly don't mean when you're on the streets, you don't protect yourself. They may not be coming for you now, but eventually that can all change. So you definitely need to protect yourself, especially in New York, where they're saying they're targeting women with your phone. If you have to be in town where they are in New York City, make sure you keep your phone where it's not out in the open. I realize people get calls and all that, but try not to be on your phone out in the open. And if you can be in the city with someone and not go by yourself, try to travel with other people, because right now they said it's pretty bad. They are on this steady attack of women in the city. So y'all be careful out there for real. Well, you know what? This is a disgrace. Look at the billions they have spent on these immigrants. And all we're saying is we want reparations. Like I said, at the end of the day, they're going to spend more on these illegals than what they would have spent if they would have just gave us the reparations. And I've been saying that all along. But yeah, I mean, come on, these folks are doing the same things that they were doing back home. They just now brought it into America. And see, for a long time, they wouldn't even admit the crime was out of control. Now they're starting to admit it. But before even Joe Biden said it was not out of control and them coming into the country wasn't out of control, but look at this about face. Look at it now. And it just goes to show you what liars politicians really truly are. Mhm. But yeah, they're all gonna pay y'all. Yeah, they're really paying for it now. So even if you say you can turn these over to ICE, it's gonna take a lot of work to round these people up. Even if Donald Trump was in office, it's gonna take some time before he rounds enough of them up where they're no longer a big problem. So even if he said mass deportations, it's going to take some time. It may take a greater part of a year or even more or even longer to get the bulk of them out of here. So right now it don't matter who's in office, it's going to take some time. Mhm. So y'all, please be careful out here. I know y'all are fully aware of what's going on. Believe it or not, there is a lot of people walking around that don't know what's going on. I was looking at something, it was more locally, where somebody got where an illegal attempted to take, I think, their wallet, and they caught them in the act, and the person said they didn't even know that was going on. So, as much as we talk about this on social media, there's still a lot of people walking around unaware. And the news in this country, it's amazing. When it comes down to our crimes, they want to be on there. They want to do a 24/7 cycle about everything we do. But when these illegals are doing stuff, you notice how they hardly got it on mainstream news. They are hardly talk The only reason why they're talking about it now is because that girl got killed at the University of Georgia. That's the only reason why they're yapping about it now. But prior to that, they weren't talking like that about it at all. They didn't care. Mm, mm, mm. So everybody, I want to thank everybody for coming, and thank you for your patience in waiting for me. And let me just go back. Denise Nisi Scales, thank you for the super chat. Anna Marie, thank you for becoming a channel member. Lisa Parker, thank you for the super chat. I love your channel, Lisa. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. And Jay Cage, peace to you, Lisa, and the family. It's very much too late. Yeah, and it's too many of them here. And Terrence Shelby, thank you so much for the super sticker. I did not want to miss anybody. Thank you so much for your support. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your day. If you can come back at 3:30, 3:45, I believe, I'll be doing Nat Turner on this leap day. Shalom, family.